morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. I thought I'd touch base again to tell you some things that are happening in the Karma world. And you can see that I'm outside. It's barely warm enough to be outside. But anyway, at least the sun is shining and it's a relatively nice Sunday here. It seems a bit like Groundhog Day, doesn't it? Now the season's changed. We're back doing my chats with you outside, and then it'll be the summer. I just hope we won't be locked down and doing it in the snow when we get to next winter. So, what's happening? Well, I think the thing on top of all of our minds is obviously India. And clearly we all see shocking scenes of what's happening in India at the moment. And my thoughts and heart go out to all of our members there and their families and our members of staff. I've been trying to get to India for quite some months now, and it just hasn't been possible. So I apologize if I haven't been able to be there. And it's probably not the best time to be there right at the moment. What we're doing as a company is that we all respond as much as we can to the situation. It's still a bit grey, whether it's going to be national lockdowns or local lockdowns or what restrictions there are going to be. But clearly, it's very hard for people to travel and get to our resorts. Our resorts remain open, and they will remain open as long as we can. We do have clients with us down in Goa. We'll be consolidating and focusing more on Hatti Mahal in Goa, and some of the other resorts may be occupied or maybe not, but we will certainly try to stay open as long as we can. And if you can come to us and you can take a very well-deserved holiday, then please be there. But circumstances may make that difficult, clearly. Be also assured that, as before, we will look after all of our staff. We won't be laying anyone off. And if people can't work because resorts can't function or because there are lockdowns or restrictions, then we'll support them and we'll support their family and we'll do what we can. So, worrying times. I think at the end of the day, there might have been a certain inevitability that things were going maybe too well in India, and that there had to be a few more restrictions, and that hopefully that will be able to bring it under control. And the combination of restrictions and some sort of lockdown and the vaccine being rolled out and herd immunity occurring will mean there are strong lights at the end of the tunnel. And we still see that. As you know, we have new resorts in India. Udaipur opened up only 10 days ago, and although it's been a tough opening, very positive signs. And we are still looking at other resorts in India. And in fact, one of my managers is currently at one resort as we speak, seeing if it's one that we should be acquiring. So unbelievably positive in India going forward. Very conscious that you're doing it tough over there. My thoughts are and let's hope that we'll sail through this storm relatively soon. As you can see, it's quite windy here as well. A bit cold and a bit windy. Typical English spring weather, I should say. As I said, I think the key in India is going to be the vaccine and getting the vaccine rolled out as swiftly as possible. We as a company, and you may have seen this on social media, we as a company are very focused on vaccinating all of our members of staff and their families as soon as possible. I'm looking forward to the time where every single person that works for us has been vaccinated, particularly in consumer-facing roles. We rolled out a vaccine program in Goa recently. And in Bali, we've had a very successful vaccination program. We've given over 2,000 jabs to members of staff and also to the family and the local community. So I'm a great believer in the vaccine being the solution to this problem and the way we can get back to a new normal. Talking about Indonesia, our new resort in Java is doing superbly, and it's very encouraging to see that it's highly occupied and that we've got many new members coming from Jakarta and from Java. Our intentions are to do another resort. We have something in mind where the ink is currently drying, and I hope to tell you about that over the next few weeks. And I do hope to get down to Indonesia at the end of Ramadan, during Eid or just after Eid, because I know the government is also putting restrictions in place or a lockdown in place. But excited about what's happening there. I said previously that we wanted to focus on the Indonesian domestic market. We have done. The market has responded tremendously positive, and I see us having many more resorts in Indonesia. These will be attractive not only in the short term to Indonesian residents or Indonesian domestic tourists, but in the long term to all of us, because they are in magnificent locations, often overlooked by the international tourists, with amazing scenery and amazing attractions. And I'm utterly convinced that many people that aren't Indonesian, that maybe wouldn't have thought of the West Javanese highlands or Sumatra or other places, will be blown away by them. And as we sail through this, that'll be a very positive outcome. Down in Australia, well, it's Anzac Day today, of course, and also West Australia, which is where many of you are, our members, is under lockdown. As I've said before, I'm not a politician, nor would I want to be, particularly at the moment. I can't help but feel it is taking a sledgehammer to crack a nut, to lock a whole state down when 1, 2, or 3 people got COVID. But hey, we're all working in tough times. It is very sad. It's this weekend. From a personal point of view, our resort is very busy at Rottnest, and it's always a magnificent weekend. I know, having lived in Australia, how important Anzac Day is. I know the dawn service is a remarkable event and a reminder of huge bravery and sacrifice. So it is disappointing for everyone, I know, that this is the weekend of lockdown. But so be it. Let's just hope we sail out of it in a couple of days and life goes back to the normal that it was in before in Perth. And clearly Rottnest is doing extremely well, and that's been a fantastic success over the last few months. Talking of COVID, I want to talk to you about a new initiative that we're launching that I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of the vaccination program, and I'm very proud of a relationship we had with a company called Operation Recuperation. And in fact, it's a lady called Rachel Sherwood behind this. And you've probably seen in our social media that this was an operation where she took it on herself to contact hotels and accommodation providers and provide NHS frontline staff in England with a holiday as a reward, as a thank you for the work they've done. And in all of our countries, we know what amazing work doctors and nurses are doing to protect us and to help us in this situation, often vastly underpaid, often vastly sort of overlooked. And I dread to think the work they're doing in India at the moment. And any of you that are involved in health work in India or know people are, well, really, we do have my respect. But anyway, we gave away holidays, and it was immensely pleasurable and exciting to see the gratitude of the people that received it, and quite heart-wrenching to hear some of those stories. Rachel did an amazing job, not only from the logistics side, but the actual speed of efficiency of putting it together. So we met with her and said, look, we want to be more involved, and I want to do more to help and reward the frontline workers. So we're launching a new initiative called Karma Frontline, which is in association with Operation Recuperation. And we're going to give away 500 free stays, 500 accommodation packs, which come with some meals and wine and whatever. And so expect to see more of this, but I do believe that these are real Trojans that are often overlooked. So we as a company want to show our gratitude for what they're doing by giving away 500 free stays. And we'll be doing the same way elsewhere in the world, in our universe, in India and Indonesia. We'll look at ways that we can run similar programs to say a true thank you to these people. So expect to see more on that as we go forward. Also, where I had that meeting is Salford Hall, which is fantastic to see open now. Very soft opening. As you know, in England, we can't really have hotel accommodation, but we have got some self-catered rooms there, which we've opened, and the bars open, the restaurants open outside. So we're used to being in the cold in order to get a beer at the moment. But that's great. An amazing job. Everyone that put that together. It's a magnificent resort. I know many of you are going to love to experience that when you can. And I've been spending a fair bit of time up there. I've been quite involved in it. So if there are things about it which are good, thank my managers. If there are things that are bad, purely blame me. Probably the wine list. You can criticize me for that. I've been not too involved in engineering, but selecting wine and cider has actually been high up on my agenda recently. Another new program, 2 new programs that we've launched in England is Karma Concierge. And I think some of you have come across that already. This is going to be a bespoke concierge service on a one-on-one basis. So there's a Karma concierge who will be able to liaise with you and talk to you, help arrange your holidays, help arrange restaurants or flights or cars, and indeed do much more than that. My hope is that the concierge will be there to help you with other things. It may be other travel, it may be other restaurant bookings, and very much become an asset and part of the benefit of being a Karma member. We have an office now in London, in Barnes. We've launched the program in a limited way to test it. So far, the pickup has been superb, and I'm very encouraged by it. And our intent will be to expand it here in the United Kingdom and roll it out everywhere, in Australia, in Indonesia, in India, Germany, wherever we are. And I do think this is going to be a good program. And I look forward to your comments, but so far it's been good. The other program we launch is going to be Karma Club, which is going to be our annual membership club based around some social utilization and some local clients to our resorts. So we'll talk more about that over the coming weeks, but that's another quite exciting one coming out. I was hoping today to tell you a little bit about a new resort, which I am acquiring, which I think will be popular. I can't because the ink's not dry, and I believe very strongly that I should touch wood and not say anything until it's done. But it's in Spain, It's in a beautiful part of Spain. I will be going down there in 10 days with the official approvals. Don't worry, I'm not sneaking out illegally. But my hope is then to totally sign it. And when I speak to you again in 2 weeks, launch it. And I hope you'll like that one, but I think it's very nice. Elsewhere, wine. We have come to an agreement with a new wine company to make a Karma Red and a Karma White. And one of my ambitions is, as our Karma Resort, to have the best quality but cheapest glass of wine that you can find anywhere. So our hope is, by making our own wine, which is very good quality but cost effective, that we'll be able to launch wine in our restaurants and bars at a price unbeaten elsewhere. It's a modest ambition, but it appeals to my sense of humour. Okay, I shall sign off now. Today is my boys' day with my son. I have a 12-year-old son. My wife is out competing at a big horse contest, and my daughter is studying for exams, or she says she's studying. She's probably running off with a boyfriend somewhere, but anyway. My son and I, we have our boys' day. We were playing cricket in the backyard this morning, which obviously he won, always, of course. And we're about to go for a semi-formal lunch. There's a roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. This afternoon we've got the IPL, and then we've got the Carabao Cup football. So it's a good boys' day. So I shall log off now, but before I go, I shall toast you, of course, and the wine of the day. Well, I think it has to be West Australian. Australian because it's Anzac Day, and West Australian because you guys are doing it a bit tough today. It's from Margaret River. It's a Pierrot Chardonnay. I like Chardonnay. I wouldn't say I adore it, but I do really like Pierrot. I know Lewin Estate is the famous one, and Cullen's make a good one, and many people make fantastic Chardonnay, don't get me wrong, but Pierrot I've always thought is the best. It's much smaller. I quite like the old winery that they had. They may have changed it now. I think it's quite steely. It's not as buttery, so it's a bit more like a champagne to a certain extent. But it's a great wine. You don't often see it outside West Australia, but I managed to find a supplier over here, so I snagged a few bottles. And so that's our wine of the day. So to toast, I think the main toast has to be to India. You're doing it very tough, and you're in all our thoughts. I've every confidence we'll be sailing out of this storm soon. India is an amazing country that can deal with things that other people can't deal with. And so we've every confidence that you guys will be sailing out of this. But you're on our thoughts. You're having it tough at the moment. So I'll be toasting you. We have to toast Anzac. I'm not sure the protocol, if I'm allowed to toast it. It might be callous, but we're certainly remembering all those incredibly brave people that set sail. And as I said, having been at a dawn service, I do know how amazingly powerful that is. And talking of that, talking how powerful, the other toast I'd like to give, which is related to that, is to Prince Philip. As you know, last weekend was the funeral for Prince Philip. As some of you may know, a very close relative of mine worked for Prince Philip in Buckingham Palace for 20 years, so it's particularly poignant. And look, some people may be royalists and some not. I am a total royalist. I'm very proud of it, but I do accept that some people in the modern world are maybe not as supportive. But if you did see it, it was an unbelievably powerful experience. It was incredibly well done, if you can say that about a funeral. And I think even if one forgets any discussions about a royalist, Prince Philip was an amazing man. He went through the war, clearly, and he did a huge amount of good in his life, and he was a rock for the royal family and did great things, I believe, for Britain. So he's in my mind today as well, and I'd like to toast him. I'd like to toast all of you. It's the light gets bigger, but then it somehow dims a bit, doesn't it? But I think that's what we expected. If any of us thought that we're out of this mess, then we are delusional. We have a long way to go, but things are getting better and better and better by the week, whether it be from a micro sense in Karma or a helicopter view in the world. And I remain incredibly positive, incredibly bullish. And although there are short-term problems, we are coming through this storm well, I believe. So stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and get vaccinated. It's a bit colder here than Margaret River.